Alright, in this episode we are playing A Hand in the Darkness, a visual novel, sort of like dating sim, taking place in this boarding school in Britain. I haven't seen any playthroughs of this on YouTube at all. I heard about it from just looking around on Steam and stuff like that, so I don't really know what to expect. From what I get, it's like there's some mystery elements and some romantic elements, but it seems like more of a straightforward visual novel. So let's just dive in and see what it's like. St. Michael's Boarding School is a magnificent place. An elegant and traditional school that provides boys from a good background a future of success and excellence. Okay. That's what I had been told. But actually, I was rather terrified. The sight of those tall old towers made of brick and stone, those paneled windows too similar to those of a church. It was my first time in such a kind of school, and I definitely wasn't looking forward to it. Especially when it seemed like I was the only guy my age with a mother crying her eyes out while taking leave. Sure, there were some kids in their first year sobbing and hugging their mother's skirts, but they were 11 years old, not 16 like myself. All the older-looking guys gave short hugs to their parents and immediately ran to meet their schoolmates, patting their backs and being generally loud. I felt completely out of place. And to make things worse, the other boys were starting to throw funny glances at my mother's in my direction. Man, so embarrassing. I tried to shrink and melt with the wooden walls of the ancient-looking hall. Or alternatively, try to calm my mother down. Alex, please, Mom, I'll be alright. Stop crying. Mom, I don't know if I am ready to face 3 entire months without seeing you again. We have never been separated for so long from each other. Yeah, this is why my grandmother said, like, if there were boarding schools in America, she wouldn't send me. Even though, like, as a little kid, like, from reading Harry Potter, I really wanted to go to a boarding school. I thought, like, ooh, sleeping over at school, that sounds fun. And to my discomfort, her sobs turned louder. My savior appeared in the form of a balding man dressed in gray with the school crest embroidered on his chest pocket. Wilson. Ah, you must be the new student. Please let me guide you to your bedroom. Your name is Alex White. Yes, I have it noted down somewhere. I'm Wilson, the housemaster. So you need anything, like an additional blanket, another lamp, or an application for leaving school, just look for me. I nodded and grabbed my suitcase. I wish I felt more at ease. After all, the man was being really kind and was not the stern type I was expecting. But I couldn't help feeling tense with my mother by my side and all the racket in the hall with boys and parents talking loudly and rushing past us. The man headed towards the main corridor and I started following him. My mother then attempted to follow us, but Wilson turned and stopped her with an apologetic smile. I'm sorry, ma'am, our relatives are not allowed inside the building. But do not fret, I will accompany Mr. White to his bedroom and will make sure he makes himself at home. He patted my shoulder with a big smile. I'm sure this young man will write home very soon, won't you? I nodded at once, wanting to make my mother feel more at ease. I really didn't want my last sight of her for months to be one of her face contorted in sadness like right then. She seemed a bit calmer, but then suddenly embraced me tightly. Please write to us as soon as possible. Your father couldn't come today, but you know how nervous he was as well. I will, don't worry. Well then, come on, Mr. White, follow me. I disentangled myself from my mother's arms and grabbed my suitcase again, waving goodbye to her. The year was 1910. Oh, wow. And my new life was about to start. Wilson led me to my bedroom, which I was to share with 3 other students, and after showing me which one was my bed and my wardrobe, he also told me that the door in front of our bedroom was a study room for my yearmates. As soon as he left, I started unpacking my stuff and placing my clothes and hangers inside the wardrobe. Monty. Oh, hello there. Okay, cute ginger kid. I turned to the door and saw a red-headed guy smiling in my direction. I uneasily looked back. Nobody was behind me. So yes, he must have been speaking to me. Hello, I'm new on St. Michael's. The boy chuckled, amused. The suitcase and the fact that I haven't met you in the 5 years I've been here gave you away easily. Okay, Monty, got a little bit of a sense of humor. I tried to smile back, feeling clumsy and awkward. It ended up being more of a grimace than a true smile. So, what's your name, new boy? I'm Alex White. The boy extended his right hand in my direction, and I hurried to shake it. I hoped my palm wasn't sweaty, was it? Damn, nobody my age shook hands in my village. Really? Nobody shakes hands where he comes from? The school was definitely too formal for me, but at least this guy seemed nice. My name is Montgomery Johnson. That's a neat name. You can call me Monty. In fact, please do so. My bed is this way. My bed is this one. Room beside yours, so I'm your neighbor. Okay. Alright, the door opened and two other guys appeared at the threshold. So the rumors were right and we have new faces this time. The young man who had spoken was dark-haired and had a bigger build than me, or Monty, and in general looked older and more mature than us. The eyes looked intently at me with an amused spark, and before I could open my mouth to introduce myself, Monty spoke for me. This is Alex. We have just met. Alex, this is Damien. Another visual novel with a character named Damien, except it's spelled differently. But he waved to the other boy, half hidden behind Damien. Oh, he's shy. And that one is Rick. He is the clever of the group, so I hope he will accept the study with us this term too. Will you? The boy shrugged, avoiding our eyes. He was very tall and thin, and after feeling so awkward the whole day, I marveled to meet someone who looked still shyer than me. That made me smile a bit, and I reached out my hand to shake theirs. To my surprise, Damien took it after hesitating for a short moment, raising an eyebrow, as if the situation was oddly entertaining to him. The way he shook my hand, looking at me with a crooked grin on his face, made me think he was making fun of me. Perhaps shaking hands was only formal for Monty after all. How would I know? Slightly annoyed, I turned to Rick, who passed by my side towards his wardrobe without a single word or glance in my direction. Such nice roommates. Before I started to fume, Monty laughed, shaking his head. Please don't be upset. I'm sure you'll be used to their antics very soon. It's almost dinner time. Do you want me to show you the school afterwards? That would be perfect, actually. We were having dinner so early? Monty and Damien chuckled. Ah, so you didn't know. We take the Masonic vows when arriving here, get ready for tons of church time, getting up before dawn and going to sleep at sunset. Oh, shut up, it's not so bad. But it's true we work hard at St. Michael's. Let's go, I will explain the schedule while we go to the dining room. The three of us followed Monty out of our bedroom and across a number of corridors and stairs. I tried to memorize the way, although I started to be afraid of getting lost often in that labyrinth of wooden corridors and doors. It couldn't be helped. I guess I was stuck with following Monty everywhere until I made myself familiar with the layout of the building. The lessons start at 8 o'clock, and breakfast is served at 7:30. But there's a compulsory religious service at 7, so we usually get up at half past 6. Dang, getting up at like 6:30 every morning? That's earlier than I had to get up when I was going to school. At 6, if you want to have a bath in the morning, since the bathrooms in the evening are rather packed. Oh. Also, the best time to get the study room for ourselves better before the service, so we won't often get up at 5 or 4 during exams. I stared at him. He was smiling as if that was the most normal thing to do in the world. You're kidding me. He isn't. In fact, Rick takes our study group very seriously, so we must follow his rules down to the letter. He is very strict with the schedules, but I swear that if you follow his directions, you will succeed in all your subjects with an A+. Baffled, I glanced towards our silent roommate and followed them inside the dining hall. I was already missing my old school, where you went back to your home every afternoon and didn't need to sweat at all to pass all your subjects. Come on, Alex, hurry up or we won't get our table. Yes, sorry. I sat beside Monty and our two other roommates went to sit in front of us. Almost immediately, a senior student started reading a passage from the Bible while the rest of us waited in silence. I started to space out, but the reading was short and the plates were served at once. Oops, I didn't mean to skip that. Hold on. Can I go back? Okay. I started to space out, but the reading was short and the plates were served at once. The food was good, at least, although it was a bit early for me, so I wasn't hungry. Where did you study, Alex? Oh, until now I've always attended my village school. It's in Surrey. Never been there. My family lives in the north. You aren't missing anything, I thought. My village is really small and ordinary, so I didn't think it was worth commenting about it to Monty. Do you have any brothers or sisters? Oh yes, I have 4 elder siblings, 3 brothers and 1 sister. But they are way older than me. They are all married and living in their own homes. Oh really? I'm the same. I'm youngest of 6, and I've already 2 nephews and 3 nieces. I guess back in those days people got married really quickly. I smiled wildly at this. What a coincidence. I also have 4 nieces and 1 nephew. That makes 5, same as you. Monty grinned and hooked an arm around my neck, pulling me closer in a vice grip. I struggled a little, but without any heat. It was a little embarrassing to be treated so familiarly by a guy I had just met, but was also warm. One of my fears about coming to St. Michael was feeling isolated, after all. So I was glad to have found someone so friendly my first day at the school. I turned to our roommates in a pantomime of asking for help to get rid of Monty and see Damien laughing out loud, and Rick staring at me with an oddly serious face. He looked aside when he caught me glancing at him. I cleared my throat and slid from Monty's grip, suddenly uncomfortable. Damien started talking with Rick about some schoolmates I hadn't met, so I turned to ask Monty in a quiet voice. Is Rick always so shy? Monty seemed surprised at my question. Rick? I wouldn't call him shy, no. Why are you asking? I didn't know what to say. So my first impression of Rick was wrong then. Perhaps he was simply upset because of my presence. That option made me feel disappointed. We were bound to share our bedroom for the entire year, after all. And it seemed Rick was in charge of the study group, so if he didn't want me there, I shuddered at the thought of endless hours studying on my own, and with the added difficulty of having no one else to partner with for the group projects. Are you thinking that he doesn't like you or something like that? Should I try a British accent since they're in Britain? My British accent is awful. I'm gonna keep reading it like this. I don't want to upset anybody. I didn't dare to nod. Was I so transparent? Monty laughed and bumped his shoulder against mine. Don't overthink stuff like that. He is simply a serious guy. Be kind to him and I assure you he won't have a problem with you. I hope so, I thought, slightly relieved. But I caught in the corner of my eye how Rick was staring again at me. I pretended I didn't notice this time and pushed Monty's hand off my shoulder. When we finished having dinner, Monty took me around to see the school, as he had previously offered, while Damien and Rick went back to our bedroom. In the right wing, we have the gym and the church, and in this main wing, on the second floor, is our classroom. The left wing, as you already know, is where the dorms are located. Ours are on the second floor as well. What would you like to see? Let's see, the church, the gym, our classroom. Let's see the gym. Wow, it's pretty big. We didn't have one in my previous school. Monty looked amused. I bet you won't be so enthusiastic once you get acquainted with all those torture instruments that our teachers call gymnastic equipment. Let's see. Let's go to the church. It's bigger than I imagined, but also airy and welcoming. I expected a darker and menacing place. I don't know why. Well, I was glad to be wrong. Monty showed me around, speaking in whispers that traveled from wall to wall in a muffled echo. Let's see. Our classroom. Oh, I should have guessed. Our classroom was locked. But don't worry. You will see it first thing in the morning. He sighed. I looked around in the darkness, feeling uneasy. Monty was familiar with these corridors, but I wasn't, so I could only make up unknown shapes. It was a little unnerving not knowing where I was or how to go back to my bedroom. Plus, there was the additional issue of tripping over something in the darkness. You're not afraid of the dark, right? Of course not. Stop smirking. You can't possibly see me smirking. Not that I need to, so stop already. Let's see, so we went to the church, the gym, the classroom, so let's go back to the dorm. Can we go back to our bedroom? I've seen enough for today. Wait, there's another place I want to show you. Follow me upstairs. Let's see the upper floor. What's in it? There used to be an infirmary, but they closed ages ago. Now if you get sick, you must ask the housemaster for an aspirin and go back to your bedroom, or ask him to get the doctor from town. But, this is the most interesting part, there are a lot of rumors running about the old infirmary. He grinned in a conspiracy tone, and I couldn't help but raise an eyebrow. I can't see a damn thing. Don't be so whiny. You want me to tell you the story about the infirmary or not? I sighed. Do I have a choice? Monty grabbed my hand in the almost absolute darkness. In the almost absolute darkness, and entwined his fingers with mine. I was glad. I wasn't very fond of not being able to see where he was or where he was heading, so at least this way I knew exactly his location. The nurses in St. Michael's used to be old nuns from the nearby convent, the one on the outskirts of town. But the last one who came was a young nun who had recently taken her vows. Let me guess, she was a beautiful maid, wasn't she? No, she wasn't wealthy or pretty. It seemed she was rather ordinary in every way. She was the daughter of a merchant who had his small store in town, and just that. She was to be married to a young foreign merchant who used to trade for her father, and it seemed she was happy with the prospect. But after all the preparations, the day of the wedding arrived, and the groom didn't come. So she waited all day in the church in her white dress surrounded by flowers. At sunset, her family took her back home, and although she must have been heartbroken, she didn't shed a tear. She was so ashamed that she wanted to hide her face in the world forever, so the next day she left her father's home and entered the convent. Oh, poor girl. I followed Monty up some stairs. The wood was dry and old and creaked under our feet. It was as dark as before, and I could only say where Monty was because of the direction from which his voice came. I tightened my grip on his hand just to be sure not to lose him. But she was so gloomy at the convent that she decided to send her here. What the fuck, that music? Perhaps I thought she would be happy or making herself useful, or that she would find someone and change her mind. And she did? Yeah, she did. He made a long, uncomfortable pause. Soon a teacher started to court her, and he didn't stop until he turned her into his lover. What he didn't tell her was that he was already married. This turned out bad. When she eventually found out, she broke up with him enraged. Afterwards, she got really depressed. Don't tell me she killed herself in the infirmary and is haunted. Oh my god, that's exactly what I just said. Don't tell me this is one of those stories where the nun killed herself and now she returns to the school as a ghost. Suddenly there was a hand on my nape and Monty's breath touched my ear, warm and ticklish, eliciting a shiver running up my spine. Oh no, she had a madness outbreak and took 3 students' lives before taking her own. Oh yikes, that's worse than I thought. Just like Alex, I thought it was gonna be, in her grief of like being heartbroken again, she killed herself and now her ghost roams the infirmary upstairs. But no, actually, she murdered 3 kids and then committed suicide. Wow. I gasped and moved away. His hands slipped from my fingers. I felt a rustling of clothes and a sudden rush of cool air around me. Monty? Monty, where are you? Don't you dare leave without me. I stepped forward and met the wall. Cursing, I turned and tried to keep walking while following the wall. A light female laughter sounded somewhere in front of me. Freezing, I turned again in the opposite direction. This is getting creepy. I thought this was gonna be like a nice little story about a boy at a boarding school. This is getting scary. I knew my imagination was playing tricks on my mind. Where were the stairs? And where was Monty? Monty, this isn't funny. Another sound. A soft bump came from some meters ahead of me. Cursing, I stopped walking. That must have been Monty. That must have been him, I was sure. Monty's probably playing a joke on us. On Alex. Yeah. Why couldn't I dare to ask aloud if it was him? A cold sweat was starting to dampen the back of my shirt, and my hands were trembling. I shook my head. No, there wasn't anything supernatural there. I just had to keep on walking until I found the stairs. Another knock, this time louder, and I uttered a muffled cry. I could feel presences. I couldn't see anything. But the air around me moved. I glued my back to the wall and closed my eyes tightly. My knees buckled, and I suddenly found myself kneeling on the ground. Oh, come on, God, this has gone too far. I knew it was Monty playing a trick on us. There was laughter, definitely a male one. When I opened my eyes, I found Monty, Damien, and Rick in front of me. Monty had lit a lamp, and he was looking at me with concern in his eyes. Damien, the bastard, was laughing out loud, till there were tears in the corners of his eyes. Rick's face was unreadable, but under his serious features I swear I could see a hint of embarrassment. Wishful thinking, perhaps. Monty helped me to my feet and threw a furious glance to Damien. Look, he's trembling. I told you this was a bad idea. Whatever you say, mate. He shrugged, still grinning. I'm really sorry, Alex. Damien thought it would be fun to do a little prank on you. You know as you are the new one here. I nodded, uneasy. I never felt so embarrassed in my whole life. I tried to play it off, pretend to be mad at them while I followed them back to our bedroom. Instead, I was only mad at myself. Was I so gullible that a bit of darkness and a ghost story turned my knees into jelly? Hey, that started creeping me out too, dude. I've been thoroughly too spoiled and too overprotected. I needed to toughen up a lot if I was to survive in a school full of other guys who weren't my family. There was no one else to protect me from them on, and only myself to count on. Still, I thought to myself while I faded into sleep. A little later, I was glad to have Monty. Although he had taken part in the prank, he looked truly ashamed afterwards, so perhaps I could count on him as my friend. The other two, well, I didn't want to think about them. That in mind, I fell asleep on my first day at St. Michael's. The next day was extremely long and exhausting. I woke up very early, but the bathrooms were already taken, so I couldn't take a bath as I would have liked. I tagged along with Monty into the religious service, then to breakfast and the lessons. Every teacher seemed to be strict and serious, and after the never-ending lessons I came to a sad conclusion. I was behind almost every subject. Well, how's your first day been at St. Michael's? Well, now I can see the difference between my previous school and this one. The level here is way higher. Yeah, that can be. Yeah, like my middle school, when I went from middle school to my high school, the subjects got so much harder. Like, I don't know if, like, the standards from my high school were just higher, or if in my middle school they were just pretty low, but, dude, in my middle school, like, I was one of the smartest kids. When I got to high school, I struggled a lot. Oh, yeah, I definitely see how he feels. Strangely enough, though, I feel like I struggled more in high school than I struggled, like, in my college classes, though. Monty chuckled. That's to be expected, wasn't it? Don't worry, Rick. Debbie and I will help you to catch up easily. We had 2 spare hours until dinner. What would you like to do? Let's see, let's meet the others and start studying. I would like a bit of time for myself. Yeah, let's meet the others and start studying. Let's try to, like, make a bond between these guys. Do you think Rick and Damien would like to start scheduling our study time? I was already rather afraid of not being able to follow the rhythm of the lessons and failed spectacularly with my grades. Monty shrugged and turned to the stairs. I can't speak for Damien, but I'm sure Rick will be up to it. Let's go to the study room. Hey, Rick. Are you going to the study room? Can we go with you? We can start planning our study time for this term. What do you think? Oh, wait, I think I clicked on. Rick was standing in the corridor outside our bedroom and avoided my eyes as usual. He looked a bit more comfortable around Monty, though, not only looking at his face, also allowing Monty to pat his shoulder without wincing. I wish, but the study room was already full. What? Those guys are seriously fast. How did they manage to reach the room so quickly? Damn it. There's no other place to study? We can go to the library. Remember, we must be quiet as possible. The librarian will throw us out of the place and ban us from entering again. Oh, of course. Well, at least he spoke to me, I thought. I followed him to the library. It was a nice and comfortable place. It reminded me of a bit of my father's study, where I used to spend all the winter afternoons studying or reading. Rick explained to me in a quiet voice everything we had learned in class that day that I didn't understand. I must say, he was a really good teacher. It was way easier understanding him than understanding our teachers. The curious thing is that once he started to focus on the school subjects, he got completely about his shyness or whatever he had around me. I spent almost 2 hours leaning against my side to help me without being heard from the librarian's desk. We might have looked like 2 conspirators, speaking in whispers and throwing suspicious glances around us to check we weren't being overheard. Monty sat in front of us, glancing all the time in our direction. He didn't seem very focused on his homework, to be honest. Most of the time, he was just spacing out. At last, he looked again at the wall and clock and stood up, pulling my arm to make me get up as well. Study time is over. You have monopolized Alex enough for today. Let's go to the dining hall already. Alex looked confused and just glanced down while nodding. Sorry. What are you apologizing for? You've helped me a lot. I'm really grateful. I owe you one. He looked at me askance and his cheeks tinted lightly. I couldn't help but chuckle. Rick got embarrassed so easily that it was almost cute. And Monty honestly thought Rick wasn't shy. Perhaps they weren't that close, even after sharing a room for years. Interrupting my thoughts, Monty wrapped an arm around my shoulder and pushed me towards the door. Shh, remember, we can't speak loudly here. Let's go. And the 3 of us took our books back to our bedroom and then headed to the dining hall. We sat at what I now called on my mind, our table. I wonder where the hell Damien is hiding today. Well, it doesn't matter. After all, it's usual for him to disappear for hours, and you better not ask him where he has been. What do you mean? Monty sighed at Rick and he shared a pointed look. Rick pushed his glasses up his nose and glanced at the opposite wall, apparently embarrassed. I don't know if I should tell you, but, well, you're better off warned, aren't you? Warned about what? Damien adores breaking rules, so he's usually doing something that goes against the school norms. Right now, he's probably playing dice or poker and getting money on it. What? Really? Rick nodded. There's a possibility that some of the teachers are in his poker game. I couldn't say a word, too shocked to form coherent thoughts. And just then, right when the food place was starting to be served, Damien appeared and sat in front of me. He reeked of cigarettes and alcohol and looked me over with a smirk. Our place arrived and I was glad I had something to do. Enduring Damien's stare was a bit too much for me. Say, Alex, I was wondering, why did you transfer from your school to St. Michael's? There's just a year left before the university, after all. That... I knew they would eventually ask me about that. It's not that I was ashamed of my family background, but I feared they would think I didn't belong at St. Michael's and would be disappointed in me. My uncle Edward, my father's younger brother, passed away 2 months ago. Since he didn't have children of his own and my father was a favorite brother, Uncle left an amount of money for my education in his will. We weren't even close, it was a surprise for everybody. But of course my parents were delighted and planned at once to send me to a good school to help me enter Oxford or Cambridge. So your parents are not wealthy? No, my father's a lawyer, but he owns a really modest firm. My father could buy your whole village if he wanted. Okay, so Damien seems like he's a rich, spoiled jerk. Ignore him, Alex. Rick's father's a lawyer as well. I looked at Rick and Monty relieved. My family has a lot of money, but with so many relatives, I don't think I can aspire to get more than a good education from them. We are too many to share. I nodded. Hey, don't be offended, it was just a joke. I'm not so uptight to mind about those kind of things. Damien's father's an important politician, don't you know? Yeah, one day I want to be a diplomat. Next year it will be law in Oxford, and when I finish one term at Stanhurst, the military academy, and then, hopefully, a couple of years in the colonies. Okay. So Damien's not as spoiled brat as I thought. Sounds nice. Damien looked at me as if I had insulted him. Sounds boring as hell. All our careers sound positively boring as well, you get. I'm not excited to get into the stock exchange, although working in the city seems good enough. Hey, at least you'll be in London and not in a foreign shithole being eaten alive by mosquitoes or worse things. And you, Rick, what are you going to study? Rick shrugged, pulling a face. He's going to be a lawyer, of course, like his father. Not that I like it, but there's no other option. And you, Alex? Yes, tell us. Have you chosen yet? I glanced to my half-empty plate, embarrassed to be the focus of their attention. All three of them looked at me intently, and I felt really uninteresting and dull all of a sudden. I haven't decided yet, no. My parents want me to study law or medicine, but I'd rather study something like history. Damien chuckled. That's for poor bookworms who win their sad lives as school teachers. Is that what you want? What I wanted right then was to hide under the table. I still don't know. I've told you. Well, whatever. And he stood from the table. We followed suit, since we had already finished our meal. I think it's alright, as long as you choose something you enjoy doing. That's right, Monty. As long as you like it and you're having fun, that's it. Yeah, I wish I could choose. I would study history over law any time of the day. I felt slightly better. I was surprised that even in that stern environment, I had found mates who would support me, no matter how wealthy my family was or my future choices. When we were walking out the dining hall, a guy from my class stopped me. Classmate. Hey, you're the new one, right? He told me to tell you there's a parcel for you, so you must go see Wilson right now and get it. A parcel? Thank you. You're getting a parcel home already? I bet it's food. A house-made cake. No, knowing my mother, it must be more winter clothes. I will go to the hall to pick it up. Do you want me to go with you? Oh, thank you. No need for that. Okay, but think of me if it's a cake, will you? That's funny. I grinned and waved goodbye to Monty and Rick. Damien had already scurried away. I could more or less remember how to get from the dining hall to the housemaster's office. I was a bit worried because the corridors were completely empty by then. Everybody seemed to leave for the study rooms or their bedrooms after dinner, and I definitely didn't want to get lost. I took the main stairs, glad to remember where they were. The steps were high and the stairs were long and made a curve, so one had to mind their step while climbing down. Suddenly I felt a push on my back as if I had bumped with another student. Was I so focused on the stairs that I hadn't noticed her was also going down? I lost my footing, and the ground was low with my face in a snap. I tried to regain my balance reaching for the railing, but had no success. Started to panic. I saw how the railing slipped from my fingertips, and I kept falling down the stairs. Oh no! I tried to get reach for something again that could stop my fall, and my body kept spinning down the stairs. I was too shocked and frightened to feel any pain, but my head and limbs kept bumping against the hard planes and angles of the stone stairs. Yikes! Somebody pushed him down the stairs? Then I bumped against something soft for a change, and I stopped tumbling. Disoriented, I felt two arms around me. I realized I was lying on the floor in the middle of the endless stairs, half on top of another student. You have a knack for getting lost, don't you? Damien? When I could focus my sight, I saw Damien's face barely inches from mine. I noticed that I had run over him. His hands were holding me to avoid falling down. Embarrassed, I tried to move from my position on top of him. I'm so sorry. Damien laughed, amused. I wouldn't mind, had I not a bloody step digging against my back. I got up and helped him to his feet. Are you alright? It's me you should ask. You look all battered. Yes, thank you for stopping my fall. The two of us looked stairs down. There was still a flight of stairs until the ground floor. I looked upstairs and saw I had fallen 2 flights. No wonder everything hurt. As soon as my left foot touched the ground, the pain traveled up my leg until it reached my spine. Damien threw me a concerned look. Can you move that foot? Is it the ankle? I think it might be sprained. Let's hope it's not broken. You could have broken some bones with that fall, you know. Or more than some bones. You're really lucky. I hadn't thought about it, but when you said it, yeah, falling down 2 flights of stairs, you're lucky you didn't break your neck or hurt your head badly. Now my thing is, somebody must have pushed him, but who and why? Yes, I was lucky to have just a sprained ankle. Damien helped me to reach the feet of the stairs, headed them in foot, the feet of the stairs, and then we headed to the housemaster's office in the hall. Wilson was horrified to seeing me being half carried by Damien. What happened, boy? It's just your second day here, damn it. And I'm sorry, I bumped against someone at the main stairs and fell down. You bumped against someone? Who was it? I shrugged. I couldn't see. He could have gone downstairs with you to help, couldn't he? Yeah, that would be the sensible thing to do in the situation. You're supposed to be a gentleman. Perhaps he didn't notice, I don't know, or he was frightened. I felt embarrassed enough, I wanted to drop the subject. I sat down in the housemaster's office, and Wilson put me an anti-inflammatory cream and bandaged my ankle. Damien stood by my side to help me to walk back to our dorm afterwards. Now that I think of it, in fact, I was coming here to pick up my parcel. Wilson threw me an odd look. What parcel? Haven't received anything yet. Wait, so a student told him that he had a parcel waiting for him, and on the way to pick up his parcel, he somehow gets accidentally shoved down the stairs. That sounds very suspicious to me. What parcel? We haven't received anything yet. But a guy from my classroom told me you had a parcel for me. Damien frowned. Well, I can assure you there's any parcel. You look around here if you want, see? Alright, maybe they heard it wrong. I didn't know what to think, honestly. We found Monty and Rick at the door of our shared bedroom. Monty opened his eyes wide as saucers when he saw me limping towards them, holding myself on Damien's shoulder. What the hell? What happened? And the parcel. Well, it turns out that there was a mistake and there wasn't any parcel. And on top of that, I fell on the stairs. How could you fall down? Did you slip? Damien helped me sit down on my bed. He said another boy bumped against him and made him fall, but he didn't see who he was. What? What the hell were they thinking? You could have broken your neck, you know. The steps on the main stairs are very high. I know. I was lucky just a sprained ankle. Has Wilson called the doctor? There's no need. I can move my ankle so it's not broken, see? Move my ankle and carefully slow circles will show them. It hurt, but it wasn't as painful as before. As long as I don't put all my weight on my left foot, I will be okay. If you say so. We were going to the bathroom. You want me to help you? I hadn't thought of that. How embarrassing. But after that endless day, I really needed a bath, so I would have to swallow my pride and let them help me. Damien took the things he needed for his bath and left while I was still hesitating. Come on, Alex, grab your pajamas and towel and stuff. I bet there's already a mile-long queue for the bathroom. In the end, Rick went ahead to queue for the three of us, while Monty helped me to pick up the things I needed for the bathroom. Some of the other boys had pity on me and let us jump ahead in the queue, but we still had to wait in the corridor for half an hour. When it was almost my turn, I suddenly heard someone bickering loudly and recognized Damien's voice at once. I turned the corner, and there, in front of two open bedrooms, Damien was grabbing the front of the shirt of the classmate who told me to go to the housemaster earlier. Damien was scary. He was smirking and showing his teeth, threateningly mere inches from the other boy's face, and he was almost lifting the guy from the ground. You think it would be funny, playing a prank on the new kid, eh? I'm telling you, one of the servants told me to pass in the word. I don't know anything about a prank. As if, tell whoever's behind this that the kid in my bedroom, so I'm the only one who has the right, as if, tell whoever's behind this that the kid in my bedroom, so I am the only one who has the right to play pranks on him if I wish. Oh, yeah. So the kid's in my bedroom, so, yeah. Okay. Besides, what would you have done if he had ended up seriously injured, eh? The poor guy was on the side by then. I stepped forward, jumping on my good foot, to stop that nonsense. Damien, stop it already. Come on. Damien looked at me through squinted eyes and then gave a last waggle to the guy. Well, you remember then. Do I have your word? The kid is mine, so you leave him alone. He let go of the boy and he ran to his bedroom screaming. All the people around, mostly my classmates, started staring at me with curiosity. Embarrassed, I approached Damien. That was unnecessary. Do you really think it was a prank? Damien shrugged and started walking, giving me his back. There's always a possibility. I jumped behind him, annoyed. Well, you could have just told me, and I would have talked with that guy. Sure. We arrived to where Rick and Monty were waiting for me, watching the whole scene with surprise. I stopped by them, but Damien kept on walking. And don't refer to me as kid again. We're the same age. Damien chuckled and turned to look at me. You're just a little bird, barely leaving the nest. And turning around again, he reached the stairs and left. The week went by. Let's see. Alright, so I'm going to stop the gameplay here. So far, okay, seems pretty good. We got some interesting characters here. Monty seems to be Alex is our protagonist, the new kid. Monty is seems like the all-around, relatable kid at school. Rick is very shy but very smart, and Damien is like that I don't give a damn type of kid. Alright, so far interesting cast of characters and interesting setting, a boarding school and stuff. And we seem like we got a little bit of a mystery going on here, because clearly somebody set that up where Alex was going to be on those stairs for what they pushed him. So I'm wondering how's that going to develop, and is it someone pranking him, or were they trying to really seriously hurt him, and if so, why? Is it a supernatural thing, or is it somebody really out to get him? So I'm interested to see how this is all going to play out. I'm also interested to see how the romance element is going to come into play. So far, I'm surprised we haven't really had that many choices. It's really more. So far, it's really more so of a visual novel, which I don't mind. Visual novels are great. They don't have to be dating sim incorporated, but I'm surprised that we haven't really had that many chances to make the decisions yet. So I'm hoping that maybe further down the line with the story, we'll be given more choices that'll shape the gameplay and stuff like that. Alright, well, until next episode, see you then.